I know I'm late to this party, and I wasn't really. I had ideas for this video, but I was like, I was busy. I don't been more making videos, but I decided I'm gonna do this. So, those you don't know, there is a Clementine comic coming soon, and or 3 months ago this was released. Of course, I'm reading it online because I don't have the book. Obviously, I do have all the Walking Dead books, but for this one, I don't buy individual issues in general because I like having collections better than me. Anyway, being a pretty big Walking Dead fan, especially the Telltale video games, I was really interested to hear that Clementine was getting her own comic. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't really think much about it. I wasn't really expecting anything like that. I thought if they were going to have a Clementine really thing, it would have been before the final season or like actually tied in. But this one, it isn't, doesn't. Now, if you know anything about this comic, you already know that it's not very good. But we'll just go into it. I'm not gonna tell what happens, but there's a lot of problems in this comic. So much so that it's really fun to talk about how bad it is, but at the same time, it's not even worth getting angry about because it feels so bad and it doesn't even feel canon. It's like it is not in a way it's worse than the third Walking Dead game, which is a New Frontier. But the same way, there's no reason to get mad about it. It does worse to the character, but at the same time, it feels so out of there that it doesn't even feel like it. So first, we get to see what kind of looks like the Charlie Adler art style that you see in the Walking Dead books. But if you're excited to see what Walking Dead the Clementine in the Walking Dead comic style, you're really not gonna get that. This wasn't written by Robert Kirkman or illustrated by Charlie Adler. If you're hoping for that, that's kind of the main reason people want her in the comics to see what they would do with that character in that setting. But this is a continuation of the story. The problem with that already is that the story ended. The final season made pretty sure that not only does it get an ending, but a pretty most people a satisfactory ending. If you have the 10 ending, it probably isn't satisfactory, but no one has that ending because who would choose that ending? But I digress. So you're gonna notice that this art style, at first it's not too bad, but the character, uh, I knew from here because this looks bad. Like this like they're trying the background so it looks like someone else did them or something, but this does looks really like for this supposedly still got the black and white more edgy look that the comics have, but the thing about the games is that they actually emulate what that would look like in color, but in 3D too. Is why I love that art style of the games. But so they don't get to change the Clementine design really, but for some reason, this artist did. I don't know who this artist is. I don't know who the writer artists are, but they're the writer I have bigger problems with. This artist is like one of the reasons I don't fit in this canon is that it doesn't even look like I mean it has the same elements, but look how bad this face is drawn. So I point out that Clementine had lost her part, I guess not most of her leg, just half her leg in the final season. They did that for a reason because it shows that she can't really travel anymore, and now she has a stationary place she can stay at for the rest of her zombie days and not to worry anymore. That was the main point of the final season, actually. We're about to see that. So she goes in that house in the game. Looks really bad. So one of the weird things you won't see any other character. This looks so bad. Like I wouldn't even know if some of these images you wouldn't even know if it was Clementine. It, it's so most of this is just pointless shit. It's this looks like crap. So here we got. So this is when I was like, so far everything was weird, but then when I got to this part, I was like, what the fuck's going on? Well, first of all, this is like AJ. I know he's wearing Clementine's hat, which makes sense. But like, what the does this? Do you remember playing the game? Do you look like this? This looks really bad too. Like the backgrounds look better than this person. Like it looks so distracting. Look how bad. I mean, I'm Let me talk about the story elements. The backgrounds look so like they're not the best, but they look like why would you put more effort in the backgrounds than the foregrounds? So yeah, here it is. So Clementine's leaving. What? If you play the game, this makes no sense. But here's the reasoning. Okay. So, let's see where it is. I was trying to find it. Oh, here it is. Very important. This. Mm. So Clementine's leaving because she's not happy. Let's make that sense. So you're in a zombie apocalypse, and you're gonna live in a safe area where you have your basically your kid. AJ's not our kid, but in the Walking Dead terms, you don't have when you have connections to somebody, basically your family. And that's how it works in the game, TV show, the comic book. That's just how it works anyway, because that's how close you get, right? But and she of course made bonds, and if you decide to in the game, you can choose to date Violet or Lewis. And so she's basically ditching them too if they aren't dead. They don't explain any of that. So she's gonna leave because she isn't one of the worst reasons ever. Actually, they could have done way um better job. This is conceptually this is a really bad. I mean, there's actually conceptually making a comic about Clementine like this is actually just was doomed to fail. But the way they this is the worst. This is the worst possible way you could execute this. We just have a character assassination. So for some reason, so she leaves. She goes to go on her own comic book adventure, which will just be the game, but without characters that you met from the previous game. Like what? The biggest thing is she's not taking AJ. Now, I don't understand this at all. No, the other characters aren't there for, I guess, some reason because determinate endings, but that's another reason why I shouldn't make this comic shouldn't be made. Because of those determinate endings where you can't really do that in comic. I guess you could. I mean, I actually would prefer if they choose one of those endings and try to go off there. I think a lot. I don't think most people would mind. It is a comic book. It's not the same as the games. A game, they would, yeah, you gotta keep that. But in the comic, I don't think most people will mind. And there's other ways you can do it anyway. But AJ doesn't make any sense because sure you're determined based off some of your actions, but why the hell would she ditch him and leave him behind? It doesn't show any case any of that. In fact, in season 4, it made it very clear they have a pretty close bond. I know that she sometimes taught AJ how he would have to live without her if she had possibly died, but it's not like. But here it makes no sense. Another problem is Clementine's going to go out on her own, even though she doesn't have a leg. I mean, she has one leg, but not the other, obviously. And the offer for the cover for the first book shows she has a metal leg, but still, it doesn't make much sense for her to go out, especially for such an arbitrary reason as not being happy. A character like Clementine would know, even if she felt that way, would be like, oh, suck it up because you're in a fucking zombie apocalypse and all's out there is zombies, and especially this place, which they never explain is anything bad. I think there's like said something about new people or something like that, but they don't explain anything. This could have had some characters that weren't determinants, like was the guy's name is Sim, something like that. You could have been there if he had to talk to our character. Yeah, I just don't understand it. It's kind of confusing. And I know the fourth game has the most determinate actual payoffs of the other games, but it doesn't make any sense why they would like go for this route. And the biggest thing is, why can't AJ go with her? People with more interested to read. A better ending was she would go out to find something or something like that, so that way you don't have to have all those different characters, but making sure like, oh, they're coming back. No, no, they kill off Clementine in the comic. Like they wouldn't really do that. Could be pretty stupid because the game. So they could do it in a way makes sense, but it looks like you're just screwing over the ending and where the book's here's going to end. It's not going to end. Go back, come circle back to the game ending, the canonical ending. So yeah, even the Walking Dead wiki, because it treats the comic characters different from the game characters, don't even consider this canon. Mostly because they treat the comic book stuff related different than the video game stuff. Even characters who are definitely the same, like Herschel Green in the game is the same as the one in the comics, but they're technically different, chronologically different characters. So if you look up Clementine, you're still going to see her stuff is still going to be based off the game rather than this comic series. I don't know what the hell they're going to do in the comic. Apparently, it's going to be 3 books, where they're actually going to be pretty long. So they could do something weird, but it went from something that I would have automatically bought to something I'm not going to avoid until I see what the hell it's going to be about. I don't think it's going to be good because this author doesn't even know how to write. Doesn't even write Clementine right. I mean, come on. Here's the way you showcase it. This thing does not get you excited. in order to write a game story, it could have been pretty easy. Actually, I wouldn't even have the focus be on Clementine, to be honest. I would have done. There's a lot of mysteries in the game, and I would like write have an anthology series about some character anthology mysteries. You could see it, fill in some gaps. Hey, if you want to do a Clementine story, fill in the gaps from season 1 to season 2, maybe season 3 or 4. Some of those other things that don't really require your permanent endings, or if they could, they can. If their books were that long, and actually like for like a season like 2 to 3, you can have like fill in the gaps between each, how each ending for the season 2 affected the goal journey to that next season. Be a fun thing with his your ending could have been. That could have been a fun idea, but that's going to do a Clementine thing. If they're just going to do this, they should have had a better reason. I would have not had them like look at she's going to for this feel like she's never come back here or see AJ again because that's how it's written. I could be wrong, but that's how it's written, and it's also a really dumb excuse. Anyway, there's no reason for her not to take AJ along, and I don't know why she's leaving. It would make more sense, like, oh, she has to go out, and she's kind of the leader, and she had to go see this other group, and that's she and AJ could have gone on adventures, and then she would eventually have come back, be like a spokesperson for her group. Would have been a way better way to write this, but of course they're not going to do that. This author wants to write where hell they want. I feel like they just want a blank slate, which I don't like that. If I was a writer, I'd rather work with pre-existing stuff because even if it's bad, which is obviously not bad, but you can do really interesting stuff by trying to rework stuff. I always look back the Archie Slime comics, how like how the Ian Flynn run, he used to take a bunch of bad elements and work them into the story, well, without having to ditch any of them. And but also create new stuff is what I like in orcs. But the Walking Dead go because you have games, you have a bunch of good elements to work with. I know there's a tournament stuff, but I feel like this is the laziest way to do it, and this is just someone who's lazy at writing and just wants to have basically have a blank slate. Clementine, they're not even worried about writing Clementine as she is in the games because they are just writing her how they want. I know Clementine's a tournament character based on her actions, but I don't think any of the actions would ever have lead to something like this, even the more asshole ones, because this just doesn't even make any sense. So I don't know. It's really interesting to talk about because like, how do you go so wrong? It's more like I'm not even mad. Like I should be mad. It was years ago. I'd been really mad, but there's nothing to get mad about. The game we already have a satisfactory ending to the games that this doesn't even feel like even feel like a good actual follow up. It feels like a really bad fan fiction. And I know, because I know just Walking Dead fan fictions. I read them back in the day, bad ones. And this could have been an easy sell for. It's not. I don't know how wide the market is, but the big we game fans, we love this stuff. There's not much merchandise of it, so we would love to pick a book. A lot of us read the comics and would love to have a Clementine spin-off book. But this one is actually this ending just scares it away, and they haven't done. It's coming out next summer next year, so we don't know. But this scared off a lot of fans who would have bought instant day one buys. This actually helped us actually quite a lot. Because I wouldn't know it. I would have bought that. I have like all the merchandise of Clemson that exists, which is none. There's like one figure I have. I have the season 2 figure and a Clemson hat, and that's about it. He's like one of my favorite characters. There's barely any merchandise about, so I would love to have a comic book about her, but they had to make it crappy. I mean, honestly, if you had something game related, I would have loved to have DLC for the games where you follow some characters, like mostly Kenny, because people like that character. I would like to see more of that character. I doubt we're gonna see anything like that. I doubt we're gonna get like even other characters from the games in here, because why would they? They don't even want AJ in the game there, so why the fuck would they bring back someone like Krista or Molly or any of those weird characters that kind of appeared up, like Arvo, remember that guy? I would love to see some of those gaps filled in, but this isn't going to do that. It's going to do whatever the author wants, and that's what it feels like. This author's like trying to wipe the slate clean, but I don't think anyone who played these games wants that. Also, yeah, the dialogue's written really bad. Clementine returns. But yeah, Clementine also calls AJ baby, which he never does in the game. Like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? No, baby, it's not for me. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not what happy. This art's look at this. This is a really actually great. I think Meme will meme on this shit. This looks horrible. I think I talked enough about this. I might read. If you guys really like this, I actually might get the books to read it to you guys. I didn't read this, but I mean, you probably already know. This is 3 months late. mean, I've been thinking about it for a while. It's like I haven't made videos in a while. This is a perfect thing to make a video topic about. Yeah, overall, the game series it's kind of it's been over. Skybound and Walking Dead guys, people. It's just this isn't what the fans of the franchise want. I know I'm one of the fans. I love the games. I play them all the time when I have the chance. Not the third one. The third one's not very good, but hey, what are you gonna say? This is probably the worst Walking Dead merchandise. No, not merchandise media out there. Yeah, I have problem ending videos, so let's just end it here. Do better, guys. Do better. Maybe you can make this. Maybe you can maybe redo this story when you get the actual book comes out, and it doesn't just. I don't know. I have very low hope for this book. It might be an interesting garbage fire though book like that Starfire book that came out. I'm not Starfire. That book everyone roasted the hell out of that. It might be like that, but yeah, as a fan, I mean, if you want someone to actually write a book like this, call me by the way, because I just joking. But anyway, I could probably do better at this. Anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, subscribe for more. But I make really weird content, like weird crap. Whatever comes to my head. So don't expect anything consistent here if you subscribe. But hey, if you like this, I'll make do Walking Dead content. I in the book when if it comes out. I don't have anything else to come about Walking Dead. So pretty much the frame is kind of over for me because the comics are done. I guess this crap's coming out, and the games are gone. Well, except for this crap, and the TV show kind of sucks. Sorry to say that, guys, but it does. Anyway, thank you for watching, and good night. And since it's close to Halloween, I'll say have a happy Halloween. I'll probably do a video before Halloween, but we'll see.